I believe that the world of the Spirit is the now. That's the only place that the Spirit exists. The only place to have conscious contact with a higher power, which brings serenity, is right this second. If you're anywhere other than right here in this second, then you can't be in contact with this incredible, wonderful power. So anytime that we're going through a day and we get disturbed, we have a resentment or we're frightened about tomorrow or whatever we have, we've just left the world of the Spirit. Bye. Now I'm on my own again. It ain't me and my higher power, it's just me. Because I have this resentment and I'm not going to get rid of it. So it's just going to be me for a long time. And now I'm going to behave in a terrible fashion. I'm going to have amends to make later on. So this whole world of the Spirit is the now. And there is the reason I want to read this sort of backwards is that there's our verbs that are used to describe, that Bill uses to describe spirituality. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that if we enter this, we come out of the ninth step, we go through the promises, and we're in this world of the Spirit where we have an undisturbed relationship with a higher power. It transforms the way the world looks. And if you recall how he describes freedom from alcohol in that step, it says, we're neither cocky nor afraid. Isn't that what it's about? We're neither cocky nor afraid. We feel as if we've been placed in a position of neutrality. We feel as if the problem has been removed. These are not psychiatric terms. Did you ever go to a psychiatrist? He says, don't worry, I'll put you in a position of neutrality. What's that, a nut ward? I mean, these are spiritual places, positions of neutrality. The problem has been removed. It's only removed while that envelope is open, while we're in that relationship with the higher power. So I came up with, as a way of refreshing our memory, what happens if we don't maintain that? You remember, that's the other thing in the 10th step. What we really have is the daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. So what I'm saying is, and I wrote them down, that if you don't do this, you're going to encounter the threats. Now I'm just making this up, so relax. These are the threats of Alcoholics Anonymous. Are you ready? If we are not painstaking about this phase of our development, we will become disillusioned before we're halfway through. We are going to lose our new freedom and our new happiness. We will detest the past and will attempt to shut the door on it. We will lose any comprehension of the word serenity, and we will lack peace. As we slide further down the scale, we will see how our experience is of no use to anyone. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will reappear. We will gain interest in selfish things and lose interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip back in. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will worsen. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will return. We will no longer be able to handle situations because they now baffle us. We will suddenly realize that nothing is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant threats? We think not. They're being imposed on us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we fail to work to prevent them. And so you can see when it says what we have is a daily reprieve contingent on our spiritual condition, that's what it's talking about. It's saying, if you maintain this, then you'll have the promises. And when you look at the promises, have you noticed the verbs in the promises? Again, I'm just saying, these are only spiritual verbs. I mean, just think about it. You said, what is one of your problems, sir? Self-seeking. And so I'm just always self-seeking. It's all about me. Don't worry. It's going to slip away. It's just going to slip away. Well, I have this tremendous fear of people and economic insecurity. Don't worry. When you're not looking, it's going to leave you. I mean, what is that? It's going to leave you. That's a spiritual solution. You're not trying to get it to leave you. You're trying to get closer to your higher power. You're working these steps with only one jackpot in mind. Conscious contact. Conscious contact. So what does conscious contact mean? It means the promises. That's what contact produces. You see, it is intrinsic in the solution, is the loss of fear of economic insecurity and a sense of well-being and intuitively knowing. And all of these spiritual terms that come not in any explainable way, but simply because you're standing closer to your higher power. When you stand there, the problems don't exist. When you back off, they all come back. You know what it's like? Drinking. That's just how you walk into a bar with 15 problems. You have 3 drinks. Name the 15 problems. Who's got a problem? I don't have a problem. Buy a round of drinks. Follow what I'm saying? The solution was in the closeness to booze. Booze was the solution. It fixed everything. And this is the same thing here. The solution is in the closeness. When you're there are no problems. When you're far away from them, everything's a problem. You see, so no individual problem gets solved. Like we go, well, what do you do about financial insecurity? Well, you set up a savings account, you do this and you do that, and you work 2 jobs, and then you put the vehicle. Okay, that's a human solution. But I have fear of economic insecurity, and your plan takes about 2 years. What do I do about the fear of economic insecurity for the 2 years? Oh, you work the spiritual solution, and fear of economic insecurity goes away with no money. You follow what I'm saying? If you had told me that the money problem could be solved without any money, I would go, wrong. But it's not a money problem. It's fear of economic insecurity. I don't have any money and it's making me frightened. What if you had no money and you weren't afraid? I don't think technically that's a solution. I remember saying that. Technically, that's not a solution. Why? You said you're afraid when you don't have money, and now you're not afraid. Okay, but it's a weird solution. Okay, yes. It's called a spiritual solution. Now, when fear is gone, when resentment's gone, when anger, when all of these character defects, disturbances are gone, guess what happens? The channel opens, and our intuition, our intuitive level is now functioning. And we now intuitively know how to handle situations. The way this manifests itself is, what am I going to do? I've been trying to get a job. I can't do that. I can't do that. And then we work our spiritual program. We're absolutely quiet, and we're just sitting there, and we just go, wow, my cousin in Nebraska runs a firm like this, and I'm a specialty in that. I bet I could work with him as a consultant. And you call him up, and he said, I was just getting ready to call you. Now, what's that all about? That's what a spiritual solution looks like. You can't have that hunch on your own. And you can't have it when you're disturbed. So the most creative that we can be is when we're undisturbed. So now we're going to start having faith in something other than ourselves. That is our spiritual self, our higher power, our spiritual self, whatever it is. And so we're going to suddenly find out we don't have to figure life out anymore. We're going to get guided through it by a force greater than ourselves. In the beginning, it's our sponsor, our home group, etc. But eventually, we're going to learn how to be guided through each day, knowing that that particular path will be the one that always fixes this. If this is fixed, life is wonderful. So that's our new set of priorities. That's our new realm of the spirit. It only exists in the moment, and it only exists if we're undisturbed.